Thank you very much. And Nick, welcome to the committee. You have 3 minutes, and you may proceed.
Thank you, Senator. Thank you, committee.
Nick, is that button up?
I'm the co-executive director of Open Doors, an agency that provides services and advocacy to people getting out of prison in Providence. We ran the Right to Vote campaign back in 2006, which returned the right to vote to about 15,000 people. So we've been working on this issue for a long time. And I want to say that as a resident of the west side of Providence, I go inside the prison and I work with people, and time after time I realize that when they get out, they end up being my neighbor. They live down the block, they live across the street, and I'm just very tired of having them counted as Cranston residents instead of as my neighbors. This has been a problem decade after decade. The solution is not hard. I'm glad that you have the data. We did this similar analysis back in 2006. We got address data, we geocoded it. This is a solution that has been straightforward and reachable and attainable for a very long time. I'm glad that we have now done it, and you're just at the precipice of including that data. I wanted to emphasize also that this non-representative way that we draw the maps has huge implications for the entire state. Right back in 2016, the speaker's race was decided by 85 votes, and those results could have been very different had the district not included about 1,000 individuals who were in prison. The state as a whole deserves, for decisions as important as that, the best, most authentic democracy that we can have. I want to add that also as someone who came to Rhode Island a long time ago as a college student, I find it disturbing, all the analogies between college students and people that are incarcerated. College students have the ability to decide where they want to register, if they want to move. People in prison obviously can't do that. I think it's a problematic analogy. Although we've debated it over and over now, I just feel the need to say that systemic racism is a big part of the prison system. Black people are 5 times more likely to be incarcerated than white people in their lifetime. It's a pretty clear disparity. And when we say that systemic racism exists, I know this is belaboring the point for many of you, but basically we're saying that if you have 10 white children and you have 10 black children, at the end of their lives, 5 of the black children will have gone to prison at some point, and 1 of the white children will have gone to prison at some point in their life. And all we're saying when we say that systemic racism exists is that those black children are not worse people. They're not going to prison because they are more criminal. They're just going to prison because of racism as a whole. Thank you.
You're not a question for him, but Nick, it's good to see you. He helped me out on so many things over the years, the right to vote and reentry programs, trying to get people when they get out to reenter society so they can be positive members and take care of their families. So I always appreciated you, and I appreciate the help that you gave me over the years. So good to see you. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Senator Quezada.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to say at the beginning when we were talking, I didn't hear anybody who testified here today said this is about any party began in front of other party. I think what people are asking it to be fair, to these people be represented by the district where they lived, and they've been represented by where they came from. Nobody's saying this is follow the Republicans or the Democrat. I think this is a responsibility for each one of us who are here today. Thank you.
Thank you, Senator. Rep Diaz.
Thank you, Mr. Co-Chair. Nick, great to see you. Happy to work with you in so many social justice legislation. But tonight, I just want to have some clarification from your testimony. I apologize if I misunderstand what you said. But you said that one of the races in Cranston were determined by 89 votes. And that could be the reason of, or the route of inmate participation or something. Can you clarify that for me? Because my understanding is when somebody is sentenced, they don't have a right to vote.
Oh, sure. So I believe the data that you showed before said that in the last round of districting, about 6% of the House District 15 was people in prison. There's about 1,300 individuals in that district. So that's 6%. It's a significant. But you might look at that number and say, well, you're never going to swing an election with numbers that small. But that 6% meant that the lines in that district were drawn differently. Had those 1,300 people in medium security not been counted in that census, the lines for District 15 would have been drawn differently. The eligible voters would have been different. The registered voters would have been different. And when it comes down to 85 votes, you never know. I mean, it could have been a different outcome. All we know is that district, every time it elected someone, was electing someone with imperfect democracy, much more imperfect than every other district. Every single one of you, unless you live next to the prison, has your vote diluted, and your neighbor's votes diluted by this current system. Maybe just a tiny bit, but you're all losing some representation, whereas the District 15 and District 20 are having their representation changed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?